Hello, everybody. Welcome to our official kickoff event for our 2023-24 NBA G League season, where we get to officially showcase our new head coach. So, a few housekeeping items. If you could keep your cell phones quiet or silenced or turned off, that would be great. After the presser, we're going to open the floor to questions for the media, and then we'll break for some pictures, and we'll break for some one-on-one interviews as well, for the media as well. So my name is Steve Brandis. I'm the president of the Wisconsin Herd. And, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody that came today. So that starts with the media that are in attendance. Really appreciate you making the time to be here. Appreciate basketball operations, John, Horst, Dave, Dean, the entire basketball ops crew that made this drive up here to support us. Thank you all. Appreciate the Wisconsin Herd staff for being a part of today as well and helping out. And thank you all to all the fans that are here. So with that being said, I am super honored and excited and proud to introduce somebody, the epitome of what the NBA G League stands for. The NBA G League is about developing talent on the court, but also off the court in the front office. And the Bucks did one of the greatest jobs of finding one of the most talented individuals in the NBA G League, one of the smartest basketball minds, one of the hardest workers that has developed and grown throughout the NBA G League. So we're super proud and honored to officially welcome our new general manager, Artie Culver.
All right, I want to extend a welcome to everybody here. Thank you for the great introduction, Steve. Thank you to all the attendees for being here. This is a really special opportunity. I'm really honored for this exciting new opportunity to continue to grow with the Bucks and the Herd. Some special thank yous first to the Bucks organization as a whole, specifically to John Horst, who's here, Dave Dean, who's here, Tony Beaulier, who's here, Peter Herman, Jamie, who's here. So many people in this room have been just very pivotal and also committed to my growth. So to have them here at this moment, it really means a lot. They're not able to be here, but also I would be remiss if I did not mention my family. Happy wife, happy life. Like my wife, Julia, has made so many sacrifices for me to be able to pursue my dreams and passions. And again, it's just been so pivotal. A lot of the people in this room are really thankful for this opportunity. But we're not here to talk too much about me. We ran a very extensive coaching search. One of the unique parts about our coaching search is that it was coming on the heels of a Bucks coaching search. And so we were able to emulate a lot of those best practices in looking for our next coach of the Herd. Our search consisted of multiple rounds of interviews, started with a group of about 15, and then narrowed it down to a group of about 6, and we brought 4 finalists into Milwaukee to meet with members of our front office, team presidents from both the Bucks and the Herd, members of our performance staff, coaching staff, and we ultimately landed on Beno. He was a great choice for us. Some of the things that stood out were first his passion for player development. Just listening to this guy talk about his ideas on how to make players better, how he analyzes film and sees the game, you could just hear it, that he really has a passion for the game. Secondarily, he has a very collaborative approach. I think that's one of the things that's really important to us from a Bucks and Herd standpoint, and that was something that stood out about Beno in the interview process, that we thought he would be a good fit. And of course, looking at just his background and resume, he brings a wealth of experience both from a playing standpoint, having a long NBA career, experience internationally, experience as a Buck, and then also as a coach. He, in a very short amount of time, Beno has really applied himself and sought out growth opportunities, both in the G League, at the NBA level, and with all that said, we thought as a group, Beno was a great choice to be the next coach of the Wisconsin Herd. And with that said, it is an honor to introduce Beno Udrih as the next head coach of the Wisconsin Herd.
Thank you, guys. Is this working? All right. So yeah, I want to say thank you to some people as well. Obviously, John, Dave being here, Steve, Peter, obviously Artie, for giving me this opportunity. Obviously, I'm really excited to be here. You guys having confidence in me, is huge. So thank you again for, naming me, giving me this opportunity to naming me the new head coach of the Wisconsin Herd. I would like to thank my wife, Michelle. She's not here, but, she's been supporting me since the beginning about me chasing my dreams to become a coach, a head coach now. She's at home taking care of our two boys. They're 3.5 and 2 years old. You guys will probably get to meet them soon. Thanks to my wife. And then, I'm really excited to be here. I'm looking forward to bringing to the Herd organization the vision from the Bucks. It's about developing our young talent. And developing young players, it takes a lot of time. I've been a part of development, through my career, and I put a lot of time in that. So like Artie's just mentioned, I put a lot of time in that. So, developing players, it's not just on the court, but it's off the court as well. For the players, we got to think as how can we help players be better on and off the court, just not for being here with us, with our organization, but for their futures as well. So with that being said, I would like to open it for the questions. Yeah.
When in your career did you determine that eventually you want to be a coach in basketball after being an NBA player?
Good question. Thank you for asking that. I think I started thinking about that probably like 7-8 years before I stopped playing. There was times that my teammates were calling me Coach Beno, even though I was still playing. So I kind of had to tell them hey, hold on guys, I'm still a player here, So I don't want to step on anybody's toes, coach's toes, that I'm coaching here. So it's been a long process. I mean, MBPA does a very good job putting the programs together for current players and ex-players. They're putting a coaching program for that, and I did that 5 times. It's basically a top 100 high school kids that are there, and we're coaching them. So I did that, and then I did a couple other leadership programs to the MBPA. Did 5 times that as well. So I put a lot of time in preparation, and that's another thing why I want to thank my wife for that, because that took a lot of time out of my hand especially during the summers. So, and she was the one that actually pushed me a lot to do those things too, I've been on this path for a while, even before I stopped playing. Yeah.
Coach, welcome.
Thank you.
I've had the honor of sitting through 5 seasons. I'm looking forward to this season. But the question I have is, as you watch, you see players develop here, and then you see players swapped around from other leagues, and then their teams, and then they come back here. How do you get everybody on the same page? It seems like it's really a tough to get them to have the same spirit, play every night, but then another player comes and another player goes. It seems like a lot of times the team, changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard as a coach. How would you take care of getting that dynamics going where we're all on the same page and keeping excitement? Because the excitement has been here. I mean, we haven't had it. I don't think a game I ever saw that didn't go to the end was exciting, but it seems like it's a package to put all that together. How would you?
I mean, I believe that has to be a job of not just the head coach, but the whole organization. We got to attack it early, before the training camp even starts, communicating with players, talking to them, explaining to them the business side of it, because players a lot of times they just want to come and just play, but they got to understand, a little bit about the way this business works. At the end of the day, as a coach, I only have 48 minutes to use players, and sometimes some players will not play. They'll be, there's going to be sad faces, but if you stay on top of it and just communicate with players, I think players tend to take it a little easier. They're not as down on themselves or, being upset. So, yeah, just talking to players, just communicating constantly. It's a relationship going back and forth, not just direction, taken from me, but they need to have their voice as well. Go ahead.
No, I said welcome.
Thank you.
What is your coaching style, and do you have a head coach that helped you get to this point that you kind of based your coaching style off of?
I mean, yeah, I would like to thank, there's a couple coaches. I mean, obviously I played for a lot of good coaches, but one coach that actually gave me an opportunity to get into coaching was Stan Van Gundy. I played for him in Detroit, and then after I retired, he gave me a call if I wanted to, join him in the staff with the Pelicans as a player development assistant coach. So yeah, I want to thank him. And like I said earlier, I want to bring the vision of Adrian. Adrian was one of the people during this whole process that believed in me, and I want to bring his vision. We want to play fast, but to do that, we want to, be good defensively. That's pretty much the vision. We got to be an extension of the Bucks, and that's what we're going to try to be. Obviously, players are different, and they're on the Bucks, but we'll try to put a good staff first together, and then obviously good team. Artie will, to be able to give ourselves a chance, to win games, and that's what I think it's very important as well. As running a winning program, I think it helps with developing players as well. So, yeah.
What was your favorite memory in your time with the Bucks as a player?
Oh, I mean, it was a great organization then. It's a great organization now. I love being here. I still see a lot of faces that been a part of the Bucks organization back then. So it's just great to be back, And we did practice in a different facility. So seeing new facilities now, like how the team growth, how the organization grown, it's just amazing to see. So, if we continue in that path, we have a good future ahead of us.
In your playing career, do you have a favorite memory that sticks out to you? I saw you retweeted one where you crossed up Kobe.
Oh.
You hit the Zach. Do you have a favorite memory?
I mean, that was definitely a good memory. But I learned during my career that when something like that happened against a player like Kobe was, you just kind of keep it moving. Don't say nothing. Don't draw attention to it. Because there was a time when I was on the Sacramento Kings playing, and I came out of the game. One of my teammates is chirping at Kobe, and I kind of elbowed him, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" He's like, "Yeah, I gotta talk a little smack to him, And I was like, "No, you don't do that to Kobe." And literally down next three offenses, Kobe down 2 threes, spins on one player, dunks the ball, and I was like, "Didn't I tell you not to chirp at him?" He's like, "Yeah, you're right. So yeah.
Was there anything in particular about the Wisconsin Herd organization that enticed you to take this head coaching opportunity?
I mean, they're an extension of the Bucks. Bucks being a great organization, and then with the Wisconsin Herd, they've been a great organization as well. Last year they won their Organization of the Year award, right? So just to be a part of this organization and get an opportunity to lead these young players is just an honor to be here, So I'm really excited.
What do you know about the city of Oshkosh?
Not a lot, but I played in some bigger cities and I played in some smaller cities, so I'll have no problem figuring it out. So yeah, and I have a lot of good people around me that can point me in the right directions. So it's gonna be fun.
Have you met with any of the players yet, or what do you like about the roster?
I mean, I met with a couple of players, yeah. Talked to them on the phone. We don't know the extent of our team yet. Like, we don't have a full roster yet, but like we know we're gonna have a couple returning players and then a couple new faces. And so far we're excited, and we'll see next few weeks, what's happening, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, players that I got to meet, they seem hungry to grow, to learn, and I think that's a lot you can ask. That's like literally the first thing you can ask from a player.
Do you have any goals for this first year coaching the Herd?
I mean, yeah, the main goal is developing players, on and off the court. Like, my whole thing is like I said earlier, developing players on and off the court. But our mentality has to be like not for them just grow within, but like for their futures. I think that's gonna help us. That's gonna actually put us in a position to win more games, and then gonna help them for their futures. So yeah. Those are the goals, the main goals, but and then obviously, like I said, winning games would be great, but like if we do our job developing our players, like I said, it's going to help us, and then it's going to put us in a position to do so.
I understand developing the players off the or on the court.
Mm-hmm.
What about developing the players off the court? What does that mean?
I mean, these players are young, so just to teach them how to be professionals off the court. They got to take care of the bodies, they got to eat well, they got to get good sleep, and I'm actually excited to be here as like a head coach too, because I can relate to a lot of players. I pretty much playing overseas, starting overseas, coming here, playing in the NBA, going back to Europe. I pretty much had every role on the team. So I can relate to all these players that we have here, how to take care of yourself, what you need to do to be successful, or at least give themselves a chance to be successful, and then everything else is going to take care of itself. So yeah, that's pretty much it, just teaching them how to be pros. Because a lot of these players, they come in and they tend to see it like, oh, we know what we're doing, we made it, but you didn't make it until you really made it, so.
Any other questions before we break?
And I know you say, you do a lot in the box to group players and that, but the G League itself, I had the honor, they kept a chart in the room to say where all we're placing, how the teams are doing. We had the honor of having ticket sales being number one. We got the fans, like you'll never believe the crowd, how crazy they're going to be at the games. Don't you have somewhere that you really like to win G League? We always talk about the Bucks now, but the G League is kind of important. We bring a lot of teams from all around,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of different players. But in the beginning, I always saw that the G League was something they tried real hard to win, and then players are falling out. Is there any rewards or any reason that you try to win the G League?
Again, I believe developing players the right way, be smart about it, that's the most important thing. And if we do that, that's gonna help us win games. I'm sure of that. If you develop players, if you don't worry about those things, players being called up, because we are actually developing players to get an opportunities, to be called up. So at some point, if that does happen, we have to consider okay, we've been successful. We got a lot of players getting call-ups, getting 10-day contracts, getting called to different teams, but most likely, hopefully they get called to the Bucks, We're developing players for the Bucks. So yeah, it's tough. I know, with the G League, players coming in and go, and it's not easy, but we can't, lose sight of developing players first, knowing that that's going to help us, actually help us, put us in a position to win more games.
Any other questions before we break? If not, thank you. We're going to break for some pictures, and then everybody will be available for one-on-one interviews as well. So thank you all for coming. Appreciate your support. Welcome, Beno.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.